let me tell you guys a story real quick. The day is February 14th, where central Pennsylvania, and who, we're just gonna say a friend who's gonna remain nameless. Totally not me, by the way, a friend. Now, what has my friend done? My friend, in early January, decided that he was going to buy a motorcycle out of state because he lives currently in central Pennsylvania while he's going to school. So the interesting thing about that is that he lives in Maryland full-time while not in school. So if you don't live in Maryland, when you buy a used bike out of state, you have to basically get that bike inspected within 3 months of purchase. So if you live on the East Coast, you know that January, February, and basically some of March can be the coldest times. There's a lot of snow, and there's a lot of other varying weather conditions. So basically, he decided to buy a motorcycle in one of the worst times of the year, especially with his current situation. So it comes down to the point where it's early February, and he decides, I'm not going to have many opportunities to be able to go. It's been snowing a lot, it's been raining a lot, and it's been super, super cold. So he looks at the calendar and looks at the weather reports and realizes that February 7th was his best day to go. Well, he called the dealership, not the dealership, he called the inspection place, and the inspection place told him that the day he wanted to do it was too cold. So they said, you have to pick another day. He looked at the calendar, said, okay, the other day that is possible is February 14th. So they said, okay, we'll see how the weather is because it's too far out to basically tell. So February 13th comes around, he sees the weather, sees that it's going to be about 23 degrees outside, but it's sunny. It's the one day of the week that it's going to be sunny and not raining. So he says to himself, this is the day I have to go. Now February 14th, obviously Valentine's Day, for some reason his girlfriend was okay with this. She was very supportive of him, and he loves her very much. But that basically takes away from their day. So he doesn't rent, because, you know, the smart move would be to rent a U-Haul truck, basically to be able to transport the motorcycle down there since he drives a car. Well, I still hate myself for doing, I mean, not myself, my friend still hates himself for doing that, I think. But he doesn't buy a U-Haul trailer to trailer it down because he's cheap. So instead decides to ride the motorcycle down there himself. So he rides the motorcycle down. In the car in front of him is his girlfriend, who is using GPS because for some reason on his motorcycle he also doesn't have a ram mount. Very unprepared for the situation. So you would think with all that going on, he's going to be okay because he decided to go in that cold of weather, probably has really good gear. Well, you would be wrong. First of all, he has motorcycle boots, not winter boots, but motorcycle boots, and he's wearing a pair of winter socks. Okay, that's a start, I guess. So, after the shoes, he decides that he's going to put on jeans, because he doesn't have anything else. Jeans, by the way. Jeans, if you know, are not that good against cold weather. But under those jeans, he at least wears a pair of long johns, which he thinks is going to keep him warm. Spoiler alert, they don't. After the jeans, he has on a undershirt, a regular long sleeve shirt, a snowboard hoodie that actually is pretty thin, and then a leather jacket that's not meant for motorcycling. And he thinks, okay, I'm good there. It was alright. Then, helmet, just regular full face helmet, nothing more, nothing less. Then, the last piece of resistance is wearing gloves. He has his normal gloves, and then under them he also has a pair of thin motocross gloves to basically help him out. That commute to the inspection place was basically 2 hours. In that 2 hours, they made about 3 stops because eventually it became too unbearable for him to continue to ride his motorcycle. So why do I tell this story? I'm telling you this story because of the fact that if you're deciding to ride in the winter, be smarter than my friend. Okay, at this point I feel like I should just be honest. My friend is actually me. I was the idiot who made these mistakes. Anyway, be smarter than me. First of all, if you're gonna ride in the winter and you're gonna decide that you're gonna want to do longer distances, invest in quality winter gear. So invest in thermal layers. If you want to invest in heated gloves, do that. But don't try to get by wearing a pair of motocross gloves and also a pair of normal gloves that are both very breathable, because this isn't going to work for you in the winter. It's currently 50 something degrees outside right now, and these are flowing wind a lot right now. So any colder than this, it's going to make my hands fucking freeze. Then on top of that, you definitely want to get a good quality winter jacket. The first thing that you don't want to get cold is your torso, because your torso getting cold leads to the rest of your body getting cold. You want to make sure that you not only have good layers on your chest, but also on your legs, so that way it makes the ride comfortable. So after layers, the next thing that you're going to need is a good quality helmet. Not all helmets are created equally. So for example, currently, and in this story time, I was riding with a Bell Qualifier helmet. Now, a Bell Qualifier helmet, not a good winter helmet. It's very breathable. It filters a lot of wind through you, which is one good thing for the summer. However, for the winter, it's not. It's really not a fun thing. Also, the stock visor on the Bell helmets is not good. It fogs up very, very quickly. So that's something you're going to want to look into. You're going to want to look into something with a pin lock system, or honestly just getting a winter helmet, because they're going to be a lot better for you than say like a $120 Bell helmet. So just know what you're getting yourself into beforehand. Besides you being ready for the winter, the next thing that you have to make sure is ready for the winter is your motorcycle. So obviously motorcycles, they are fickle beings that sometimes they just don't want to work. And one thing that causes your motorcycle not to want to work is the cold. And that could be due to mostly your battery not being alive anymore. So what do you need to keep your battery running well? Well, I'll show you. So on my bike right here, I have a thing called a battery tender lead. So I bought a battery tender junior. You can look that up online, and it comes with this thing where you can take this plug off right here, and you attach this end to your battery tender, and it basically keeps the battery topped up. So that's definitely something that you're going to want to have in the winter time. And I can't get the cap back on. There we go. Now, the one thing about the battery tender is that you're going to need to plug that in to like a wall outlet to be able to keep your motorcycle charging. Now, if you're like me and you lived in an apartment complex where you can't keep your bike inside and you basically have to keep your bike outside in the parking lot, I don't know if this necessarily works, but it got me through the winter. And what I did was I basically took my motorcycle every single day. I would go out to it no matter how cold. Very, very horrible thing, but no matter how cold I was, or the bike, or outside weather, I would go start it up for a little bit, ride it around the parking lot maybe once or twice, basically just to charge that battery up, make sure it's still good. And then I would come back to my parking spot, park it, and then put it back under its cover, which you're especially going to want in the winter if you live in the eastern states, is that you're going to want your cover because it's going to be snowing, and you're not going to want your bike's paint to be sitting with a lot of water on it for a long period of time, especially with it freezing. And you're not going to want snow on your rotors and things like that, because they will rust out your bike. So overall, if you're new to riding motorcycles in the winter, the main thing, and it's very common sense, but it's gear. You're going to want to invest in quality gear. Don't try to get by wearing a sweatshirt with a jacket over top, or 2 pairs of gloves or boots with like winter socks or long johns. If you invest in quality gear early, you're going to thank yourself in the long run. Believe me, trust me on that fact. Then after that, you're going to want definitely to have a good helmet, because your face getting cold is definitely not good for you in that time. It makes the ride really, really not enjoyable. And then finally, you're going to want a way to top your motorcycle's battery up. Now, that can be a battery tender, that can be riding the bike every single day for a little bit or starting it up, but just something to basically keep your motorcycle in good condition. And then finally, you're going to want a cover, so that way when the weather does start to get bad, you're not leaving excess water and snow and other things on your bike to basically rust out your paint and other metal components. So yeah, those are my tips, I guess, for riding in the winter year-round. My little story at the beginning. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to see more content in the future. And if you guys have any video ideas, let me know down below in the comments. I've been Artsuar Moto. Thanks for watching. Peace.